Ed Bernstein Show. Now, here's Ed.
Well, the Latin Chamber of Commerce does amazing work here in Las Vegas. And now, Peter Guzman, you're doing it in Reno as well, right?
Yeah, we're a statewide chamber with big plans, and stay tuned.
And there is surprisingly a large Latin presence up in Reno.
Yeah, there is. I mean, Reno has exploded, and anytime you hear about places exploding, you can guarantee that there's some large amount of Hispanics creating that.
And let's
just be honest.
Okay, and let's be honest, and let's talk about this for a minute, okay? Because look, we have an immigration policy, and everybody's got an opinion, and it's very, very complex. All I know is that all the contractors that I deal with, whether they be in the construction business, the landscaping business, restaurant business, nobody can find employees because of partially because of what's going on in our immigration policy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is. You must have a solution to this.
Well, listen, the solution is adults getting in a room and being serious, really serious. Not campaign strategies for either side. Just time's up. We need real comprehensive immigration reform. This country needs these folks. We need the very best and brightest. And so why don't we have a policy that reflects that? But and even further, and Ed, you and I are friends, so you know how I care about this. It's deeper. It's even deeper than that. This policy that has been allowed to fester has created complete hate and racism in our country. Because what you see on the news is the very worst of things, right? And so the story of immigrants and their story in this country very rarely gets told anymore. It's all negative stuff, and then the visuals are negative. And so, of course, people are out there actually believing that these folks are coming in to steal your job, to take away your great life. No, that's not the case. Immigrants are coming here in search of a better life and working very hard. Now, none of us like criminals, right? None of us like folks that create crimes. That's in every race. Let's get the very best and brightest. Let's get a comprehensive immigration reform policy that reflects that.
Yeah, and this whole thing about taking jobs, I don't get that either. Look, I know we had to do some stonework at our house. We couldn't find qualified people to do the stonework. But you look at what's coming up from Mexico and Central America. I mean, they're experts at doing this kind of work.
Correct. So
Americans don't even want to do it.
Yeah. So again, comprehensive immigration reform. We need to, and for those who aren't willing, I don't care what political party you're in, it's time to say, for those who won't talk about it and won't be bold about it, we're going to vote you out. We're just going to vote you out. And use your vote accordingly, because immigration is a major issue. I'm for secure borders. I'm for knowing who's coming and going.
But how do you balance that?
Well, with real immigration reform and policies, right? I mean, listen, we were almost there. We're almost there with a Democrat and a Republican. And since then, since that failed, it's never been spoken about again. And all I hear when I go to D.C. is, that's on the back burner. We can't, it's too hard. It's too hard. Well, we're the greatest country in the world. We should be handling things that are too hard. We seem to find money and policies for other things that are, convenient, right? So come on, let's get into it. I went so fast that I wanted to congratulate you. I mean, I don't know how long you've been doing this show.
34 years.
But I knew it was past 30. So
yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's
you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you. It's look, we've both been in this town for a long time. Love this town and have seen, it do wonderful things, and we've seen, some not so great things in this town. But this immigration thing is, front and center for us. We're active with the immigration clinic over at the law school.
I know you are.
And
I saw the plaque.
I saw the plaque. Well, because they were arresting children, essentially. Sometimes 4, 5, 6 years old, and they're entitled to some sort of hearing, and they're not represented by lawyers at the hearing, and the kids can't even speak English. And I mean, it was just a kangaroo court.
It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I mean, it's not who we are. It's not a representation of who we are in this country, or who we've been, more importantly. This is a nation of immigrants. It's a country of immigrants. And what happened was it became campaign strategy. Actually works for either side. And so they ran with it. But I say time's up because we've never seen it like it is today. The borders are out of control. And it's time to be an adult and pass policies that reflect who we are. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. And yesterday, listen, and recently, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about it, hopefully, is a bill that our governor signed yesterday that, you know, for many is controversial.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay. Yeah. He signed a bill regarding the street vendors. Right, the guys that pull up in the taco trucks, that pull in front of the construction sites or outside the courthouse.
Or little carts.
Or little carts.
You know.
And what is the history of that? They were not licensed, or they...
Correct. So this is a growing trend in every community. I mean, I went to a Padre game recently. When I came out of the game, you know, the street vendors were everywhere, selling food, good food. Here, what happened was it started to grow momentum, but they were pulling up anywhere they wanted. Nobody knew the quality of the food. They weren't paying taxes. And so, you know, SB 92, in its current form, because it didn't start out that way, but in its current form, allows for, you know, seriousness. It allows for get the politics out of the way. This is a business. These are entrepreneurs. Let's get them licensed, health department certified, and paying taxes. And set policies, regulations on where they can be, what times, all of that. A seriousness, like most businesses. And after we were able to get to that point, because I was deeply involved in this, that's when I went to the governor. And the governor was all for it. And the governor was for being open for business, lawful business. And that's what he signed yesterday. And it was a bold move because I know that not everybody's going to be crazy about it because they read nonsense in the media. But the fact of the matter is we turned these dreamers, people that dream about owning their own business, we turned them into legitimate business owners yesterday when he signed that bill at the Latin Chamber of Commerce.
And taxpayers.
And taxpayers.
And not only that, it broadens everything. Look, now you have to get insurance. Right? You have to be a legitimate business. You got to have insurance.
This is called economic development.
Right. So
firsthand.
It affects everybody.
It affects everybody.
And you know the food's going to be safe.
And you know the food's going to be safe. And more importantly, they're going to be safe. You know, because there was some things going on. They're getting robbed. They're getting their stuff stolen. Now, and they wouldn't call the law enforcement, obviously, because they weren't legitimate business. Right. Now, all that goes away. So this is a win for our community.
So is there a procedure now for them to go through the licensing? Is it
correct?
A separate
and currently, and this is what I love about what I do. You know, it's affecting policies. The county now is developing their set of standards for the county. The city's developing their standards for the city, and we're involved in that, right? And we're involved in that. Even gaming was on board. Gaming came on board because they didn't want folks just pulling up right in front of their casinos with no license and start selling food out there. Now you can't do that. Now you can't do that. That's off limits.
So if I have a truck and I'm in the city and I want to drive over to the county, I need 2 licenses?
You will need licenses to operate your business in whatever municipality you're in. Again, that's a good thing. It's not unlike other businesses.
I got to pay the same license fee as a lawyer.
Exactly.
Right?
So why not? Yeah. Adding seriousness to this issue is actually creating economic development.
And this segues back to the beginning of our conversation, because what you did was you took people who were probably not paying taxes, not really, complying with, the rules and regulations, not really enriching and to the benefit, or becoming beneficiary to other purveyors and vendors, because everything's kind of black market.
That's right.
If you can do the same thing with workers, coming from Mexico and Central America. If you can do this, let them work. We need to get the work done. You can't find. Look, I don't want to minimize the ability of Latinos, but can't find a busboy. I mean, I have friends that own restaurants, can't get dishwashers, busboys. I mean, those jobs are out there. maybe not attractive to many Americans, but if you're coming from Honduras or something, it's a life-saving
My
job
father
for
came to
you.
this country from Cuba and was a busboy. Started as a busboy, worked his way up, and there's nothing wrong with that, with that trajectory. And so we're not minimizing anything. We're actually enhancing our country. We can't listen. Businesses are crumbling because of this, right? They're crumbling. I have folks that call my chamber. They're like, "Can you help me get employees?" And I can't. Everybody's asking for that. And so there's a major problem here. And because of politics, I believe, because politics is festered into every single area of our lives, it's preventing great things from happening. And we got to get past this.
Because the media's got to have some responsibility for this. Because
I think the media has tremendous responsibility.
Right, because all you do is see the polar opposites, the two extreme views of either, fighting at the people rushing the border, crashing into the border, and committing crimes.
24/7.
Or you find the opposite. Hey, just let everybody in and let's give them Medicare. It's two different extremes.
Right. What you're not seeing is what you are getting to see right now. Two guys who may not agree on 100% on politics, but we have great discussions. And where we can agree, we agree real strongly. And we try to make things happen in our community. What's wrong with that? That's how it used to be. That's how I grew up.
By the way, you talk about the food trucks. A few months ago, my wife and I were in Costa Rica, Tatamaranda, and there is an area there, and all it is like a, in the Old West, they used to have the wagons circling. These were all food trucks, all around this big park. It was the busiest place I had been to in Costa Rica, and the food was exceptional.
It was probably amazing.
It was the whole thing was an experience.
Listen, I'm going to give your viewers an idea that I wish I had time to do. But whoever figures out getting a 5-acre parcel, maybe, or a 10-acre parcel, I don't know how much land you need for this, and build a place where people can go to get street food. The street food park is going to make a ton of money.
And that was, I think, the idea that didn't work well at the container park downtown. It's
bad location, not easy parking. You need somewhere out there, and it's got to have an addition of culture and be authentic.
Right.
You do that, you'll see tourists showing up there,
well, maybe
like they do in Chinatown.
You and I should maybe do that.
Well, let's talk about it.
Because I talked about it with Claudia when we saw what was happening in Costa Rica.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
It really is. Look, the Latin Chamber does a lot of things. And I remember when I was involved in politics, it was fundamentally one of the first stops you have to make as a politician is go have a breakfast with the Latin Chamber. Is it still that way?
It is. My mentor and the founder of the Latin Chamber of Commerce, Otto Merida, a real legend in many ways and a great man. And he mentored me to say, hey, he would say things like, we're a powerful organization, but what good is power if you're not using it to help others? And I live by that. And so, everybody comes to the Latin Chamber. It's a great tradition. It's more relevant now than ever. And these folks come in, and we're able to talk to them and maybe affect some policy that's going to help our community. Because the flip side of that is, I got people coming in from the community into my lobby just asking for help. So I'm in touch with what is being done and said out there. And, you talk about things like school choice. Let me tell you something. Shutting the schools down, there's probably nothing that upset Latino moms more than the shutting of the schools and seeing their kids get left behind. And so they're pissed off right now. They want school choice. They want opportunities. And I'm telling elected officials and those running for, you better figure out how you're going to talk about this because you're going to be asked about it. Moms want to make sure their kids are being taught in a safe classroom. And if that means school choice, whatever that means, they want it.
Isn't it strange that all of a sudden safety is an issue in public schools? I mean, who would have thought?
And, this governor was bold up there trying to get, passing a safe bill classroom. The fact that we even need a bill like that, it tells you what kind of times we're in right now, but it's needed. These classrooms are getting unsafe for the kids and the teachers. And so we have to address this. You can't trying to be politically correct and dance around these subjects is not working anymore. We need adults in the room who can really have serious conversations without insulting each other, calling each other names, and get the solutions. Because we can't fix these things.
Right. But I just don't see that happening.
Not currently.
I mean, it seems to me it's getting worse and worse.
I can't disagree with you.
I don't know what an answer is. And it's not only in the United States. It seems like it's happening all over the world.
Yeah, but our drug problem here is getting worse. There's no denying it. I mean, you're actually seeing almost zombie-like folks walking streets when you go to some of our cities in the United States, and
homeless.
Yeah,
not only the homeless.
These are people, addicted on fentanyl.
Right.
Fentanyl's flowing into our country, and I don't think there's enough conversations going on about it. It is literally coming into our country, and it doesn't take very much to turn folks into zombies. And so we better address this stuff.
And addressing it means, I think, going back to the root of why do people even begin to take drugs? I mean, we're talking about quality of life issues and the opportunity that you have of not having a hopelessness in your life, that you have some hope that you're going to be able to better your life sometime in the future.
Correct. And we're talking hardcore drugs.
The American dream, right?
Yeah. The American dream is slipping because of it.
Yeah.
And so, but who's talking about it? Who's addressing it? And I'll tell you, it breaks your heart when you go to some of our greatest cities in the United States and you see them crumbling.
Yeah. It seems to me that there's a lot of people that when they look at crime and they kind of put it into categories of ethnicity.
Correct.
Here's an African American doing this, here's a Latino doing that. But when I look at it as, hey, these are people who commit crimes who see that they don't have any opportunity or any other choice in life.
Yeah, and certainly there's some of that and a lot of that. And that's a deeper discussion that requires a lot more time. Mm-hmm. The long history of, people being shut out of the opportunities. Mm-hmm. That's a deep conversation and one that should be had. But furthermore, there's a lot of issues that contribute to this stuff. Parenting certainly does. I mean, parenting matters, right? And so when you see these kids that are going to these public schools in 5th, 6th grade, creating chaos in a classroom, you do got to question.
Where are the parents?
Where are the parents? Where are the parents? Kids are going to do dumb things. We all did them. Mm-hmm. But there were limits, right? What are the limits today?
Well, there are no limits because these same kids are bringing guns to class. Oftentimes they're parents' guns.
You see what I'm saying?
What else is going on legislatively? I mean, you had, I know what you passed, and I saw a beautiful photograph with you and the governor signing the vendor bill in the paper yesterday. What else were you looking for?
Well, we were looking for making sure law enforcement. We were supporting law enforcement issues because obviously I know the term is, a lot of people like to use the defund police. We certainly weren't trying to do that here, but making sure law enforcement is supported. We're a unique situation here, right? So most cities, sheriffs deal with a budget that has to do with their community. Well, our sheriff has to deal with a budget not only that deals with the community, but deals with a thing called tourism. I mean, what is it? 50 million people come here, and they're coming and going. So imagine how difficult that is to keep the Strip safe, our community safe. So we have to support law enforcement. At the Latin Chamber, we try to do that. We don't think going soft on crime is the answer. We've seen cities like San Francisco who lowered the threshold, lowered all thresholds, and then increase how much you can steal before you even get
crazy.
And what has happened?
Right.
Stores are leaving San Francisco,
right?
Literally picking up and leaving. We can't have that here. We're a ghost town. We don't have a beach. We don't have some of the things that other cities have, and they're crumbling. So imagine us. We offer hospitality. We got to offer the best hospitality we can offer.
Yeah, and our new sheriff has a background in being very big on diversity issues and working within the community. Has that been helpful for you?
Oh my God, he's
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin McMail is You know, he's walked the walk. He's really about it. And I'll tell you what's even. I don't know how much time you've spent with him, but when he talks about injecting humanity, he gave a talk at one of my luncheons, and he said something so powerful. I literally saw people in the audience with tears in their eyes when he said, just imagine if somebody would have injected a little humanity into recent things that have happened in some of these big cities. You know, and he specifically talked about the cop putting his foot on that neck. Mm-hmm. There were 6 other cops or 5 other cops next to him. Yeah. What if one of them would have injected humanity? And when a sheriff says that, it's powerful. He's right. So we got to inject more humanity in everything we do, including law enforcement. And I'm very involved with a committee called MMAC, and real policies have happened in that committee through Lombardo when he was sheriff, and now Kevin. And Kevin's really about, the other thing he's really about is mental health issues. When he talks about what a cop sees sometimes that we don't have to see, and then he's got to go home and be a husband, a father, without ever talking about what he saw, that's crazy. So he wants to take away the stigmas and develop, you know, the place for cops to be able to talk about things. That's incredible. Because what he saw at 1 October, what Governor Lombardo had to see at 1 October, hell, what Governor Sisolak had to see at 1 October. When I think he was chairman at the time. Yeah. I mean, these guys, we don't see that. And so that leaves lasting effects that we don't ever talk about. Yeah. We say man up. That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, too many of us are even immune to watching that. It happened so many times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you noticed that more, how do I say this? At one time, it seemed to me, and I could be wrong, that the Latino population was kind of centered in a certain area, boundary of town. It doesn't seem that way anymore.
No, I mean, you have your long historical areas,
right?
You know, where Latinos, they tend to move where their family moves, right? They like to stay together. So you're going to always have those traditional areas, but there's no question that we're spread out. We're spread out all over. We're in every community, and that's only going to continue to grow. And the other thing that's very rarely talked about is the success in the Hispanic community. These folks are entrepreneurs. They come from chaotic countries, but they figured it out there how to survive. So imagine when they come here and we do things like this where we allow them to have business license and be legitimate. They thrive. 3 out of every 5 new business that's opened up in the last 5 years is Latino owned.
And then the following generation is really going to
excel
and make a difference.
That's right. And so let's embrace that.
I totally agree. So what's the benefit to me? Here's your commercial of joining the Latin Chamber.
Your benefit is you're going to get an organization, not a person, but an organization that's going to fight on your behalf, that's going to go to Carson City 22 times like I did in the legislative session, that's going to fight for bills that are going to protect your business and your interests. That's what we do best. You know, at the end of the day, that's what we do best. And then on top of all of that, we're also fighting for public schools. We're fighting for social injustices. We get involved in all the things. But our core mission is to be the advocate for small business. That's why you join.
Politically, it also seems that we have many more Latino candidates than we have in the past. We have, who's our highest?
Yeah, and that's only going to grow. I mean, we have Senator Cortez Masto. We start with a U.S. Senator.
Okay, start with U.S.
And
Senator.
then we can go all the way down the line. I mean, absolutely. And that's going to grow as well. That's going to grow as well. And what I tell, my Democrat friends, Hispanic Democrat friends that are in office, is you got to be business friendly. You can fight for all the things that you love that are dear to your heart. And we may or may not agree on them.
But it costs money.
But at the core, you want a successful business community. Mm-hmm. It's the only way. Right. Everything can't come from the federal government. You understand that?
Right. But by the same token, I feel that you also share the belief that the federal government does serve a purpose in
100% it serves a purpose
in helping some of those people who really can't help themselves.
That's what it was designed to do.
Yes.
Not be the everything, be there when you need it. And that's what the federal, but all politics is local. You got to get involved in your assembly, your senate, your city council, your county commission. Politics is right there that are going to affect your everyday life. And all I'm asking for is allow the small business community to thrive. Let them pay their taxes, and then you decide where those taxes go. We'll debate that. But let's let the small business community thrive. Let's be open for business.
How many members do you have in the chamber?
Over 2,000 now.
2,000. And every one of those 2,000 people owns a business?
Pretty
Basically,
much.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Right?
Pretty much. They own a business. They employ people. They're paying taxes. They're in our communities. That's why it's important. And we want to grow that more. We want more small businesses to thrive.
I didn't have time to ask you about yourself and your background because I know you have an amazing story also. How much do I have? I don't have enough time. Well, you have to come back and talk about your own personal story.
And I'll come back anytime you ask me. It's an honor for me to be here with you.
Yeah. So, hey, look, you're doing great work at the chamber. Love to see the vending trucks all around. I know now that they're going to have that little health department seal on it. I'm going to
so you're going to eat healthy.
Exactly. But there's nothing better than ethnic food, I'll tell you.
Authentic. It's authentic.
Authentic.
These people know how to cook authentic.
I love it. I love it. I was just in Italy and I learned how to make pasta, by the way.
That's beautiful. And there's nothing like fresh pasta.
Yeah.
It's a different al dente flavor to it.
Yes, it is. Peter Guzman, thank you. Hey, if you're interested in more information about the chamber, we have a website up here somewhere.
Yeah, you have a website and reach out. Reach out. It'll be a good move for you.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
And I'm a real client of Ed Bernstein's. I was driving on the freeway, truck cut me off, dropped this whole drive shaft, had a piece fly through my windshield, went across my body and across my face. I found Ed's office through word of mouth. They just said he's the best of the best. They put you at ease. They show you compassion. They have your back.
I'm Ed Bernstein. You've heard a lot of promises made by lawyers on TV, but if you really want dignity, respect, and trust, call me. The call is free.